Hey, what's happening, everybody? Freya wants a tummy rub. Yeah, what the heck? 36 degrees in the ochtend. It's 10 past 8 in the ochtend. Park is disgustingly full of rubbish. Let's see if you guys can get a closer look. Full of rubbish. And then, of course, that big tree there, around the bush there. People tend to make that the toilet. So on a hot day, because the municipality doesn't do anything about this park, I mean, even the police, we've tried. And on a hot day, you can smell the feces and that from there. Luckily today, there's no wind. So yeah, everybody's so worried about the COVID, but in this park, not one person that comes here wears a mask, even though there is signs. No masks. I mean, masks must be worn at all times. And, you know, and then around the corner, you've got a potential minefield when it comes to other diseases because of the fact that there's no lavatories in this park. So, yeah. Okay. The specialty is in. Yeah. So it's the 25th, 2nd of November today. It's Addiction of Days Part 2. Part 25. Part 2. 2nd of November. Let's try this again. 2nd of November, Addiction of Days Part 25. Let me get this book out of my way quickly. Okay, so thought for the day. To rise and conquer, you must first fall and fail. And it comes down to that whole thing about, you can only teach what you've learned. So it comes down to that as well. Before you know what you can do, you first got to fail a few times before you become good at something, right? Before you can rise and conquer, you first need to fall and fail. The same with my recovery. When you first start going to rehabs and stuff like that, and start going into the groups, and you all become more like this, yeah, Captain Recovery, eh? And then you fall and fail. Until finally you succeed. Well, on the way to success. Because as I've always said, you're only recovered from addiction once they put you in a little box. Well, not that little. And they put you in the ground. Then you're recovered. And only then are you recovered. That's why we always say, we're recovering addicts. Hold on, I just want to sort this out a little bit. Feels like I'm like talking to you, like from a distance, eh? Not that it helped much, but anyway. I was trying to sit in the back of the garden. Couldn't get the bloody phone to balance, so I lost my temper and came to sit in the front of the house. This, people, okay, this is a coffee mug for when you need that extra something in the morning. That's my hand. and it's got Nescafe. What's it? White chocolate coffee. That's some good stuff. Now, this mug is one of my reminders in my recovery. As at the rehab that I was in, this rehab, myself and a few of us that have, been in recovery now for a while, this was our home. This was where we made the change and where we found ourselves. It was the center of hope. It's no longer called the center of hope, it's called something else. But anyway, I would still like to give a shout out to Donnie Sarita. They played a significant role in my recovery, as well as these friends of mine, Silka, Jerry, Zaid, and Clint. I mean, you know, that was and will always be where our hearts belong, is there. So anyway, Tani Sarita had held pottery classes, and this mug I made in pottery class. And wherever I have gone since then, this mug goes with me. I don't know if you can see. I mean, even the ear is skew. But I was tired of small cups of coffee in the morning. So the next pottery class we had, and 1.1 kilos worth of clay to make that. So yeah, so I mean, it's always been my reminder, one of my reminders, of where I came from, especially that rehab. You know, we all love that rehab, and we all really seriously want to go back as like a reunion. But damn it, man. If it's not one thing that comes up and blocks it, it's another thing that comes up and blocks it. It's about one of the days, One of the days we'll get there and check the old place out, eh? I really can't remember the new name of the place. But this is the thing about recovery, is finding, you know, is finding those things that remind you of where you started. And this was where I started, where I was really down there. And I mean, we all need I'm gonna repeat myself now. We all need that reminder. Okay. So every now and again when things start going a little bit or a little bit or a little bit if you understand what I'm saying. You need that little reminder that, when you walk past or you open the kitchen cupboard to get a glass out for a glass of water, and I see my mug there. Remember. Remember where you come from. Remember where you started. 9 more days, people. 9 more days. And I'm 8 years old. Yes, 8 years old. It's the first birthday that I'm actually excited about. I don't know why. All my other birthdays, I was just like, yeah, no, 1 year clean. Woo, made a milestone, 3 years clean. Woohoo, keep going. Even my 7th year, I was like, cool. But for some reason, I cannot explain. I am extremely excited about my 8th year. 11th of November. I'm 8 years sober. And to think, well, how can I say? I mean, if you add it up, I mean, you take plus 20 something years worth of addiction and you put it into, because I mean, seriously, who can really remember most of those days or years? I can't. It was all a blur, you know. Certain situations and events and things like that, yeah, I remember that shit. Some of that stuff, still like keeps me up at night sometimes. Well, I wouldn't say really keeps me up at night anymore. Um, you still get visited by the demons when you're sleeping. You wake up, wash your face, and I climb back into bed. And by the grace of God, I have been able to, you know, wake up, you know, and say, "Get behind me, Satan." These are my words, okay? And then go wash my face and climb back into bed. And unfortunately, those are the only events that will always stay with you. But then you need those little reminders to remind you how far you have come. Because sometimes you wake up, or I wake up, should I say, and I find it difficult. Because why did I use was to suppress feelings, emotions, memories. Now you got to deal with it. As they say, deal with life on life's terms, and this is part of life, part of my new life. I've got to deal with it. So I need my reminder to remind myself how far I have come. And that's what you need to do. You need to find that. So let's quickly just remember, well, carry on with that normal thing every time. So yes, remember please, I am not a part of AA, NA, CA, SA. That SA I am. All right. Just as they are not a part of me, I do use their literature. Example, just for today, I also have a green and gold 12-step guide. So, yeah, I do this for me as well as trying to reach you, the still suffering addict. It may or may not get something from this. Hopefully, something. Right. Okay, 2nd of November. Living the unresolved problems. Uh, living with unresolved problems. I thought that didn't make sense. Living with unresolved problems. Like my dreams that I have, or my nightmares that I have. Those are mostly unresolved problems. And they used to keep me up because I didn't resolve them, yeah? Yeah. And there. That used to keep me up all night. Now, like I said, I can go back to sleep straight after I wake up. Right. It makes a difference to have friends who care if we hurt. Basic text, page 56. Like I said, these friends that I have that we were in, went to the same rehab where we changed that. We have a WhatsApp group. I mean, we've had this group now for years, and we tend to hold each other accountable occasionally, as well as give each other shit. But it makes a difference to have friends who care if you hurt. For example, yesterday I wrote a silly little poem, just a dumb thing. I was like bored. And I put it on the group and I said, "This is how bored I am." So my one friend came back and asked me, "Well, you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm cool. I'm just messing around, you know." But at the same time, we do hold each other accountable. We give each other shit. It's like I can't remember who said this on the group, but they said, we give each other shit, and you know, we also love each other dearly because we're recovering addicts. You say it as it is. You don't sugarcoat it. If you're fucking up, you're fucking up. Excuse my language. Right. For most of our problems, the solution is simple. We call our sponsor, pray, work the steps, or go to a meeting. Now, this, people, please, is very important. For you newbies, this is very important. There's a certain somebody that is staying with one of my friends. I'm not going to mention your name because, first of all, Cherry never mentioned your name. Right. So, I hope Cherry, he's watching this. Buddy, please, early recovery, even later in recovery, this is very important, and I'm going to read it again. For most of our problems, the solution is simple. We call our sponsor, pray, work the steps, or go to a meeting. You are staying with somebody that has been there, done that, got the t-shirt, smoked the damn t-shirt, schnaufed the video rights. Okay? She's been there, I've been there, Silk has been there, but first and foremost, you're staying with Cherry. You're staying with somebody who knows what they're talking about. So don't bullshit them, first of all. Okay? Don't bullshit. Don't waste their time. Because everything that you are trying to do or whatever, remember, she's already forgotten what you still need to learn. And that's the truth. So, this is what I need to tell you. Speak to her. We recovering addicts, we need somebody that we can speak to that will not hold judgment. And what better person to speak to than somebody who's been there? So I advise you. But like I said, don't waste her time. She will call you on your shit. If you're talking cock, she's going to tell you. And we know, we've been there, we counsel, we were also addicts. We know when we are talking cock. But speak to her, please. Do that for yourself. Speak, just talk. Counselors don't always have the answers for you, but at least they are an ear for you to talk to, and a safe place. Especially a safe place. Right, let's go on. But what about those situations where the burden is ongoing and there's no end in sight? It eases when you can talk about it. Most of us know what it's like to live with a painful situation. a problem that just isn't going to disappear. For some of us, the problem is an incurable, life threatening illness. Like I said just now, this is why I used to suppress, to run away, to hide. Some of us have incorrigible children. Some of us find that our earnings simply don't cover our living expenses. That's a big one for us. It's a big one, especially in SA. A lot of us, our salaries don't even come close to covering our living expenses. Some of us care for a chronically ill friend or family member. Those of us who have ever had to live with an unresolved problem know the relief comes from just talking about our problem with our recovering friends. Let me repeat that to you, sir, if I can find it. Those of us who have ever had to live with an unresolved problem know the relief comes from just talking about our problem with our recovering friends. We may get some comic relief. It's always good to laugh. Our friends may uh, commiserate, sorry, my brain's stuck. Our friends may commiserate or cry or sympathy or in sympathy. Whatever they do, they they ease our burden. They may not be able to solve up. There you go. See, and may not have an answer. They may not be able to solve our problem for us to take away our painful feelings, but just knowing that we are loved and cared about makes our problems bearable. We never have to be alone with our pain. Silka, I mean Cherry, excuse Silka, Cherry, rewind that and play that whole thing again for him, because that's for him. You, sir. Cherry, you never told me your name. But anyway, but it's for you. Right, just for today. Those problems I can't resolve can be made bearable by talking to a friend. Today, I will call someone who cares. And you, sir, are lucky you have somebody who you are living with at the moment who's been there. Even for you, sober people, family members, it's very important that your loved one who has an addiction problem, a substance abuse problem, they need to know they can come and talk to you. They need to know that they can come and talk to you without you judging them. Especially the early days, the early weeks, the early months of recovery. When they can come to you and say, hey, Ma, hey, Dad, hey, Susan, Peter, whatever, I'm struggling. Today I'm really struggling. Okay, let's sit, let's have a cup of coffee. What's going on? I want to use. Okay, um, sober people won't know what it feels like when you have that feeling you want to use. So let me put it to you this way, for all you sober people. When in our early recovery, when we get that urge that we want to use, it is all powerful. It literally grabs a hold of you, and nothing you do, well, at that point, nothing you can you think about or try and do yourself will get that feeling out. They will do anything to try and ease that grip on them. So if they come to you and they say to you, look, I want to use, say to them, look, what can I do? What can I do for you? Do you want to go for a drive? Let's go for a drive. Climb in the car and just drive. Say to them as well. You sober people as well. Say to them, what can I do? What would you like me to do? Okay? Sometimes I just want to talk. Sometimes I need a distraction. And I find distraction works well. Take a drive. Have a talk while you're driving. And you, the recovering addict, this is your chance to educate your family member or friend on addiction, on how you're feeling, and what it is to have that feeling of helplessness. When that feeling occurs and you just want to go and get high or drunk. Same thing. Right. Have a lovely day, people. Peace be with you all. God bless. Adios.